Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Weather on the Go. All your weather coverage on this Wednesday, October the 22nd, 2025. We got a lot to talk about, including another big storm system bringing severe weather in the form of damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes to the United States here as we get closer to the weekend. Frost and freeze advisories are definitely coming out as we have potentially the coldest air of the season, and we're watching this beast of a storm in the Caribbean, and we're going to be giving you a tropical weather update at the end. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. As you are subscribing, turn on the post notification bell to all so you get all my videos, all my live streams when I do post them to my YouTube channel. Also, give it 1,000 likes today. That'd be awesome if we could hit 1,000 likes. We got close here the past couple of days. Would love to hit that today. Also, share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. So without further ado, let's get into the forecast. Let's talk temperatures because the cooler air is definitely being felt across the Ohio Valley into the Mid-Atlantic here on this Wednesday afternoon. In some areas, we are a good 15, even almost 20 degrees below normal of what we should see here over that 5-day stretch heading through next Monday, October 27th. A little bit of a southerly wind component coming back across Texas Hill Country into southern portions of Oklahoma. That is allowing those temperatures to still remain above normal during this 5-day stretch straight through the weekend. Let's identify some of these temperatures because this is certainly, for some areas, the coolest air of the season for Minnesota and Wisconsin down here into Michigan. We are barely getting to the low 50s here this afternoon. A very raw day across those areas, very gloomy day with a lot of cloud cover. Further to the south, sunshine is shining and heating up the ground. Drought also is giving them feedback, so that means it's going to be a lot easier to get into the 80s today down here across Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas because drier ground does heat up faster than a wetter ground does, so keep that in mind. And as we go into Thursday, really not much change. What you see is what you get. So it's kind of a carbon copy of today, carbon copy that to Thursday, and that's pretty much our high temperatures. Friday gets a little bit cooler for the Midwest. Areas here into Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, including the Ozarks region, could actually be held down below 60 degrees on Friday. And then going into the weekend, we rebound those temperatures, including the upper Midwest, back into the low and the mid 60s. Now we look at those low temperatures, and let's look also at the local National Weather Service offices in the Ohio Valley, including Indianapolis, Dayton, Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, down into Louisville, Lexington, and Richmond, all the way over there into the Appalachian Mountains and Smoky Mountains vicinity. We have in the lighter blue freeze watches that are in effect, which means 32 degrees Fahrenheit or colder can be expected heading up here into the weekend. So we look back at our low temperatures tomorrow morning, and you can see the upper Midwest, Northern Plains, upper 20s to mid 30s range could certainly leave a potential of some frost freeze risks here across the upper Midwest. And then as we go into Friday looks to be the coldest morning of the season thus far, especially on a widespread scale, but just in general, the magnitude of the cold air could be seeing those low to mid 20s starting off in the Arrowhead of Minnesota there, into the north woods of Wisconsin, but low 30s. That's why we have those freeze watches for the Ohio Valley, including those big cities I mentioned, because of those temperatures winding down there near the freezing point. As we go towards the weekend, patchy frost again from the Great Lakes into the Northeast will rebound those low temperatures into the middle of the country by Sunday morning. Any church services, any errands you have to run will be starting off in the 40s for the most part west, 30s and 20s further to the east. Now we look at the precipitation here heading through 7 a.m. on Monday, October 27th here. We have another robust system moving across the southern plains into the Dixie Alley here in southeast, bringing above normal precipitation opportunities to the folks further to the south. Another storm system knocking on the door of the Pacific Northwest on its heels will also bring above average rains for places like Seattle, Medford, Eugene, and all the way down into northern Sacramento Valley of California, and then drier for the Midwest, Ohio Valley up into the Northeast heading through the weekend. So let's identify the thunderstorm chances today, and it's down here in the desert Southwest, southern Texas near the Rio Grande, southern Florida or the Northeast. Those are general garden variety storms. Severe weather in the United States is not expected today. That changes as we go into tomorrow. This is Thursday, October 23rd. Severe weather in dark green, isolated coverage here from New Mexico and southern Colorado, eastward into Texas here, into portions of Oklahoma, including the Oklahoma City area, Lawton, Fort Sill, Lubbock, all the way down to Midland there, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Keeping an eye on the threat for damaging winds, large hail, but an isolated brief tornado cannot be ruled out on Thursday. I think the best chance of severe weather will come Friday, as we could have that move just a little bit further east, again including Lubbock, Midland, Santa Fe there, all the way back to Wichita Falls, Abilene, and near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, especially west. That is, again, a dark green area. Isolated severe weather. Would not be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center did upgrade this to a yellow, which would mean scattered severe weather with what I'm seeing here as we go towards Friday. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's break down the regions here. The eastern U.S., then we'll go to the central U.S. after that, then the western U.S. third. We are seeing some gloomy weather with some rain and thunderstorm opportunities for the Great Lakes Northeast as we go into the afternoon here on this Wednesday. Some of that rainfall could result in some downpours as well, so don't be surprised you look out your window and you see a couple of downpours this afternoon and this evening. As we go into the evening hours, we'll break up some of the cloud cover, especially along the eastern seaboard here along the coast. Boston, New York City, down there toward Atlantic City. We're likely going to see a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky. The further inland you go, the more those clouds will thicken and lower and still be able to produce some showers there into Thursday morning. The southeast will look at a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky overnight, and we'll start the day on Thursday as such. And then going into the afternoon, again, more of a gloomy day up here. There will be peaks of sun across the Great Lakes and the northeast, but some showers could result from those clouds. And again, we'll call it a mostly sunny to a partly cloudy sky area south of the Ohio River down here into the southeast for your Thursday. Let's look at the central U.S. We still got a gloomy day across the areas here. Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, up to La Crosse and Duluth, Minnesota, including the Twin Cities there as well. We have a lot of cloud cover. Precipitation will be light, but even some snow flurries mixing in with the colder air over Lake Superior into the UP of Michigan, the Arrowhead of Minnesota. Keeping an eye on that. We'll peel away the cloud cover in places like Chicago and Rockford, Illinois as we go into the evening. That will result in mostly clear skies. That will mean that our temperatures will be tumbling. Further south, Southern Plains, Dallas, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, we'll call it a partly cloudy sky overnight. We'll start the day with a mix of sun and clouds. We'll increase the cloud cover further south there into the Southern Plains Thursday afternoon. Those clouds will thicken, they'll lower, and then eventually giving away to some stronger showers and storms from portions of the Southern Plains into the lower Mississippi Valley as we go into overnight Thursday. Notice we say overnight because it's kind of an unfavorable time of day for severe weather, but there still could be some damaging winds, some large hail, and an isolated brief tornado, along with some locally heavy rainfall, which could cause some runoff and some minor flooding across the Southern Plains. Western U.S. here, we got plenty of cloud cover across the west, especially Rockies on westward, and that will move across the Rockies this afternoon and tonight. We got some pesky rain shower, maybe some higher elevation snow showers there across portions of the Southern Rockies as we go into Thursday morning. And then as we go through Thursday, we got that low pressure system winding up there into the Four Corners region. That'll be the severe weather maker for the Southern Plains going into Thursday night. And then our new system coming in across the Pacific Northwest, that'll bring some heavier rains to places like Seattle and just a barrage of rain and snow to British Columbia. Higher elevation snow will result in feet of snow there. Lower elevation rain could cause some flooding. Overall, let's look through Friday because our system is going to continue to bring some severe weather down here into Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and western Louisiana. Going into Saturday, that system will move further east into the Dixie Alley, bringing mainly some heavy rainfall, but isolated severe weather is possible. Mainly a wind and hail threat. Tornadoes should be unlikely there. But another system coming in across the Pacific Northwest heading into the weekend will bring us some higher elevation snow, and some of that could be pretty heavy, especially the further north you go into the Cascades of Washington State or even into portions of British Columbia in the higher elevations going into Sunday, October 26th. That is for sure. Rainfall between now and 7 a.m. on Monday, October 27th could be seeing anywhere from 2 to 5 inches worth of rain from the Red River Valley, Oklahoma, Texas, eastward all the way to South Carolina. A little bit drier for the Midwest into the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. Some pesky rain around here the next couple of days in the Northeast and up into Quebec. And then our second system coming in across the Pacific Northwest promises some heavier rain for Seattle, Olympia, down there into Eugene, Medford, and also Portland, and then northern portions of California there. including the northern Sacramento Valley seeing that rainfall. As far as snow is concerned, not really seeing a lot of it in the Sierras, but the Rockies, especially Idaho, western Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and Utah, and then of course the Cascades in the Pacific Northwest, and then up into British Columbia. We zoom out the view, western coastline of British Columbia is the bullseye for the feet of snow, as we can see an additional 4 to 6 feet between now and Monday morning on October 27th up there. We look at the snow cover here on this Wednesday, October 22nd across the northern hemisphere. A lot of snowfall here over in Russia, a lot of it down here into northern Alaska and northwestern portions of Canada, and then of course western British Columbia. We see the ice cover in orange across the Arctic here, and we compare that to last year at the same exact time, which would be Tuesday, October 22nd of 2024, and it's really not that much different. Maybe the snowpack's a little thicker further to the south in Canada, but other than that, it's really not that much different from this year to last year at this time. Doesn't mean our winter is going to be the same as last year, but it just gives you an idea of the background state of the ice and snow cover into the northern hemisphere. Long range forecast heading into next week, Monday, October 27th through Friday on Halloween, October 31st, lowering of the pressure across portions of the southeast. We got another trough coming in across western Canada, nosing into the Pacific Northwest, big time ridge across the southeastern portions of Canada, and then a weaker ridge across the desert southwest. So what that means is cooler air across the Pacific Northwest and western Canada, cooler air across the eastern seaboard of the United States down into the southeast next week, and then we see above normal temperatures across the Hudson Bay vicinity, Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, and then above normal temperatures across the desert southwest, Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, and West Texas, also the Rio Grande as well. Precipitation looks pretty active for the Pacific Northwest. That continues from this week into next week. A little bit above normal with our precipitation in the Midwest. We could use a good, much needed rainfall here as it's been in drought for several weeks now. And then a lot more heavier rainfall picking up across the eastern seaboard as we head into especially later next week. The European model is definitely showing some rainfall, much needed. We probably won't be drought busting here in the Midwest and the Ohio Valley with rains, but we could still see a half-inch of rain there, here or there. Heavier rains across the eastern seaboard or again the Pacific Northwest. We compare that to GFS model is very much in the similar ballpark to the European model with that pattern next week. Now let's look here at early November. We continue to talk about how early November is a volatile part of the month. We're going to have a lot of ups and a lot of downs with our temperatures. We'll have a couple of cool days, couple of warm days in the picture, and that really kind of continues through Veterans Day there on Tuesday, November 11th. And you can see comparatively, here's the European extended ensemble temperature outlook. You can see across the southeast it's cooler, across the west and north it's a little bit warmer than normal. You compare that to the GFS extended ensemble outlook and you can see it's a little bit cooler, more widespread, and also further to the north. So we'll keep an eye on that. As far as precipitation is concerned, the European extended ensemble is wetter across the central southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley, drier across the east, and the extended ensemble to the GFS is drier in those areas of the central southern plains and lower Mississippi Valley, and more progressive with the pattern with more rain across the Ohio Valley, Appalachians, and then up there into the northeast and including southeastern Canada. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's turn over here to the tropics. We have Tropical Storm Melissa that will be causing some big problems in the Caribbean and even areas near Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, the Bahamas, for example, Puerto Rico. We need to really watch this here over the next couple of days. Let's look at this system here in the satellite view because some very high overshooting tops with this does signal that this system is getting ready to explode here in the Caribbean. And no surprise there because we look at the ocean temperature content here and it is well above normal. Very warm waters here in the well into the 80s, low 90s still in the Caribbean. And in late October, that's impressive. We are around 2.5 to 3 degrees Celsius above normal pace of what we should see here, including near the Cayman Islands, near Jamaica there, and just south of Haiti. Those water temperatures are literally off the charts right now in the Central Caribbean for what we should see this time of year. We look here at the ensemble guidance and we look here at the hurricane models we're definitely looking at the Caribbean, lowering of the pressure underneath, but watch as our low pressure here that's pesky right now midweek moves off into eastern tropical Canada, and on the backside we see a robust high pressure system developing. Now that high pressure across the Great Lakes and southeastern Canada and like the northeast US, that is key because that is actually going to suppress the system from moving north. As long as that strong high pressure is up there, you can see 1031, 1032 high pressure, that is going to keep this down here into the Caribbean for a long period of time until that high pressure begins to weaken, and then it takes off into the western Atlantic. So that's kind of the background state of the environment there. The hurricane models, this is the HAFS A parent model, and you can see this really bottoms out, taking advantage of those warm waters. Again, a day-by-day basis, this system is going to just continue to bottom out. By the time we get to Sunday afternoon on October 26th, this model has it down to a 925, which would be equivalent to a strong Category 4, perhaps a low-end Category 5 hurricane. And then we look at the HAFS B parent model, and it's even stronger. Like, it sits here in the Central Caribbean, south of Jamaica, and as we go into early next week, this bottoms out, folks, to an 886 millibar low pressure, which would be a catastrophic Category 5 hurricane in the western and central Caribbean, just east of the Yucatan and south and west of Jamaica. So what this means, this system could be a very impactful one for the Caribbean, and we'll keep you covered on that. On the Pacific side, 70% chance of a system developing over the next 5 to 7 days. Good news here, it's moving away from land in contrast to the one that's in the Caribbean. So this one's not going to impact a lot of people or anybody at all, but you can see it's going to be a weaker system and it'll drift further to the west, being a weaker system. That's the European ensemble. Here's the GFS ensemble. A lot more of its members are weaker with this system in the East Pacific. So looking at the long range guidance here for the tropics, once we get past Melissa, and hopefully the best case scenario unfolds with Melissa. Hopefully it doesn't become a Cat 4, Cat 5, but if it does, we'll be right here to talk about it, the intensity, the track, the impacts it will bring. But after Melissa into early November, we're going to start to quiet down the tropics, I do feel, as we kind of round out the rest of the Pacific and also the Atlantic tropical season overall going into early November. So that is some good news there. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We cover Canada, the United States, the tropics. Make sure to turn on the post notification bell to all so you get all my videos, all my live streams on my channel when I do post them to my YouTube channel. Like the video. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes today. That'd be awesome. You can help out by pressing the like button, the thumbs up. Share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. I also appreciate you guys sharing it as well. Thank you all for the help and the support on the channel. I do appreciate each and every one of you here helping out. So thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful and safe rest of your Wednesday out there.